Hi, my name is Yana and I'm an exercise physiologist here at Summit Health and Fitness. Today I will lead you through a few exercises aiming at increasing strength, flexibility and endurance. The client that we're focusing on today is recovering from hemiplegia on the left side of his body as a result to a stroke. He has been working on his rehab at Summit Health and Fitness for the last 2 months. The exercises are an integral part to his rehab process here at Summit Health and Fitness. The activities that we will be looking at include activities that you can perform inside a gym with equipment and other activities that you can perform outside the gym, such as in your home or at a local park. These will include both upper and lower limb activities. Before we begin any physical activity, it is important that we warm up and stretch. It doesn't matter where you are, in the gym, at your home or a local park, there is always something that you can do. In the gym there are bikes, rowing machines, treadmills, ski ergs and arm cranks that you can use to warm up. For this client today, we'll be starting off with a treadmill as a warm-up. This is particularly to focus on his circumduction gait that he has, which means that he has a bit of a wigging out circle gait on his left side due to his hemiplegia. As he walks on the treadmill, he needs to focusing on hip flexion, so keeping his knees up. That way he will limit the amount of circle in his leg that he will be doing and more of an upwards gait. Also staying as nice and close to the front of the treadmill as he can so we're not falling back, and standing up nice and tall and deep breathing. His circumduction gait that he has, so he has a bit of a circle. So as you can see, we've been working with bands just to make that a little bit strong, more straight and stronger. So we're going to be focusing on getting that knee up, focusing on heel to toe walk and standing up nice and tall. Performing a stretch. So this one is called the wall angels, and you can do this anywhere where there's a wall or even in the air. So what we're going to start with is you're going to face the wall. I want you to put both hands on top of the wall, and you're going to make almost like snow angels in them, and try and keep your hands as close as you can towards the wall. Now to make this more difficult, you step closer to the wall. That way you're getting more of a range through your shoulders and your back. So as you can see, his left side is a little bit more limited than the right. So if you do this every single day, you're going to get further and further range and more flexibility in that shoulder joint. Okay, so this one we call a pec stretch. So usually you put one hand on the wall and you want to face the other way. That way you get a nice stretch through your pec. Now as you can see, due to the shoulder range, it's a little bit limited. So if you can grab someone else or a band just to keep that back, his arm back, and get a nice stretch through his pec. So taking deep breaths, always remembering through stretches, and you usually hold these for about 10 to 30 seconds in a comfortable range, but not pushing too hard where you're finding it really uncomfortable. Okay, so this stretch focuses on a few things. It's got shoulders, back, and your hamstrings. So you want to place your hands on a surface that it can be even a wall or a bar that's just slightly above your shoulders. You take a few steps out and you want to try and think that you're pushing your shoulders in towards the ground and your hips backwards. That way you can get a nice stretch through your legs as well. So taking deep breaths in, holding it for 10 seconds to 30 seconds, and then you can take a break and you can do this 3 times. Good. Few steps out, hips back, shoulders down towards the ground. You're getting a nice stretch in his shoulders, lower back and his hamstrings. Cool. So this exercise is going to focus on a bit of shoulder range. So we can do it in 2 ways. You can do it in front of your arms if that's where you're more limited. But for for John, we focus on going backwards because that's where his range is limited due to his internal and external rotators. So we can hold a band, a stick, anything that's nice and straight and fixed behind you. And what you do is you try and bring your arms past your midline of your body, but try and keeping your chest up tall still. And as you can see, his right side is a little bit more range than his left. So if we had a stick, that would limit that little bit of asymmetry. And we're going to hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring it back down. Now see how his shoulders were a little bit lifted? We're going to focusing on keeping them down the entire time and only bringing it back as far as you can. So I'm going to push down on that shoulder, John, and reaching back. Much better. And holding that for 10 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Now another way you can do this one is with your hands just like this. So you can drop the band. So try and getting your fingers as close as you can on your back. Now same thing, you can lift your hand just off your back and back on. And lifting a little bit off and back on. And you can do this about 10 times with about a 3-second hold. And then you can focus on getting your hands a little from lower to a little bit higher each time. Strengthen our calves, so we place one foot forward, toes facing the roof, so keeping your foot nice and flexed, and you want to reach forward, hinging at the hips, and try and reach as far as you can. So try and keep your leg as straight as possible too, so locking in that knee and reaching forward, and you'll feel it all under your calves and under your hamstrings, and even a little bit in your lower back. Next one is called a quadricep stretch, so it's going to be for the front of our legs, our quads. Now, John has a little bit of difficulty reaching for his foot. You might know it as this one, just like that. So what we're going to do is we place a band just around his ankle, wrap it a few times, and he's holding it so he can reach, get that nice stretch. So he's going to hold it just like that. See how he's getting that nice stretch. So one of the next conditioning exercises that I like to do is the ski erg. Now it is quite an advanced machine and it does take a lot out of you. So this exercise is a full body activity. So start by grabbing the handles at the top, taking a few steps back. Now you start with your arms stretched. You bring it down by simultaneously bending at the knees and stretching as far as you can. Very good. So John's stretching his arms up, simultaneously bending at the knees and bringing his arms back past the midline of his body. Taking deep breaths through each bend. Now I'm going to give him a cue to focus on bringing his left arm back so it's in line with his right one. And there you go. You can see that's a lot more even. Keeping your back up tall, John. Very good. This exercise is called the arm crank. A bit more of a comfortable one as it's seated. You can put the strength up for more resistance if you like, just like a normal bike. For this exercise we use a medicine ball and you can use any weight. At the moment John uses a 6 and sometimes an 8 and 10. So we use the medicine ball because it drops to the floor as a dead weight. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the ball on the floor. We're going to have our feet pointing out. You're going to squat with your back up straight, knees over toes, reaching for the ball, and you're going to push through your heels up, and you're going to throw it over one shoulder. Just let it roll using your elbows and shoulders to get that range. So back up tall, squat through your knees, pushing through your heels and rolling it over the other shoulder now. Very good. And it's important to make sure that you even out both sides. So over one shoulder, go over the right, and the next time over the left. So using your hands to push through your shoulders to get that shoulder range. So this exercise focuses on strength, functional ability as well, as it relates to everyday activities of lifting something up off the floor, and that passing the ball through your shoulder focuses on that shoulder range that may be limited. So John is going to now decline, keeping his feet flat on the floor, and simultaneously he will stretch his arms out in front of him, keeping his shoulders down. This is now our starting position. As you can see, the TRX is stretched out. He's going to slowly bring his elbows past his ribs and past the midline of his body, bringing his body up to upright. And he's going to squeeze his back muscles, almost like he has a pencil in between his scapula. And he's going to slowly come back down to a decline, back to the starting position. Now, to make this harder, you take your feet closer forward, and that will present as more of a decline of your body, which means that more weight is going through the floor and through your body weight. So John's going to show you a bit of a progression now, slowly trusting himself. And as you can see, this is a lower decline for him, which means more weight. So bring his elbows back past his midline of his body, squeezing his back muscles, shoulders down, and slowly back to a decline. So it's important that you control going back to the decline, as this can be dangerous and you can slip. This is our incline bench press. This focuses on our chest muscles, so our pecs at the front of our body. And so we're going to start with our chair at a little bit of an incline, and it's personal preference if you want to flat or up. John is going to lower the bar towards his midline of his body, we call the sternum, and he's going to push up with a deep breath. Now the main idea is to keep your elbows out and knuckles facing the roof. Keeping your feet flat on the floor, so you should always have your head, back and feet in contact with something. So now we have the band connected just behind the bench press machine, and we have it on his left arm, which is his limited mobility arm. So this band helps him pull his elbows back, and which also helps him pull his shoulder back, so that it is in line and symmetrical with his right arm. So now we can see that both his sides are even, and we use bands so that the muscles train by themselves through muscle memory to recruit some of those muscles that pull that shoulder back that may be a little bit weaker than the other side. So in future, when we don't use the band, it is expected to see that John performs this exercise as he would with the band, due to the muscle memory recruiting those little muscles that were weaker. Exercise is going to focus on a few lower limb muscles. It's going to focus on your glutes, quads, hamstrings, and your adductor muscles all together. So we call this the single leg slide out. Now what we have here is a device with wheels. All you can use is something that can slide on any surface that you're working with. A towel is acceptable as well, very easy to use, or if you take your shoes off and use some socks, that is perfectly fine as well. So we start with holding a stable surface at any comfortable height, 1 foot planted on the floor and 1 foot on the sliding device. Toes facing forward, you're going to bend the knee that is on the floor and keep the other leg straight. That is going to simultaneously make you slide your leg out to the side, and you're going to simultaneously stretch that knee again and bring that other leg in towards the midline of your body. So keeping your knees over your toes, back up tall as much as you can, and squeezing those inner muscles to bring both of your legs in. So the only leg that moves at all in this exercise is the leg that is sliding out. This exercise is called the hurdles, and it focuses on using our hip flexors to get our knees nice and high, and it is also a great balance exercise for overcoming hurdles in real life situations. are going to focus on the hip flexors, so getting your knees up towards your face. So you're going to place a band around your feet. You can do this lying down or seated upright. And you want to bring your knees up towards your face as much as you can, with the resistance pulling you the opposite way. And the reason why we use the resistance band is, like before, your muscles are recruiting muscle memory. So when you perform it without a band, it's performed much easier, much quicker, and through more range. Exercise is called our ball squeeze exercise. So what we do is we have the ball in between our knees and we want to squeeze the ball so it squishes together by using our adductor muscles, which are the muscles on the inner portion of our thigh. We hope that you enjoy your journey with us, and if you have any questions, please message us with your queries and we will reply promptly.